Hi, good morning. Welcome to our Saturday morning sprint. I am Gillian St. Kevin, author of Empowering Queer Fantasy That Confounds Expectations. With me today is our amazing guest co-host, Amy Blythe. Hi, Amy.
Kia ora. Am I unmuted?
We can hear you.
Sweet.
You're wearing...
I was eating my breakfast, which is why I was muted.
You were wearing my favourite T-shirt that you own. That's the taco... Oh, no. Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Taco Eclipse of the Heart.
I am. And now we're all going to have it in our head.
Yes. Which is not a bad thing. So how are you?
I think it depends what you're writing. I'm good. I am 1 week out from finishing school for the year, so
yes,
pretty good. Yeah.
I realised I did not give you the chance to introduce yourself and your writing, so please tell us all about you.
I write romantic comedies, contemporary ones. There's a series that starts with the book What's French for Oops, with they're all male-female pairings, but they're not all straight characters. And then I have a lesbian retelling of Jane Austen's Persuasion, which is set in New Zealand, modern times. And I have been... Yes, you have a copy. I am reworking the cover. I'm going to try and do an illustrated one. And then I've been working on some Regency... I guess Regency rom-coms is kind of what I'm going for. Regency romances.
The series that includes the one with the title Between a Duke and a Hard Place. Is that right?
Between a Scot and a Hard Place.
Between a Scot and a Hard Place. Awesome.
Yeah. Somebody should definitely have a book that's called Between a Duke and a Hard Place. If that does not exist in the world, that's a crime.
So if you hear that, audience, get to work. So today, Jamie, our mutual co-host and my partner in crime, is at Wellageddon, which is the Wellington Armageddon. If you follow us on Discord, you'll be able to see Jamie's stand, which looks amazing. And next weekend, I will be at the Christchurch Armageddon. And I am currently trying to finish a sewing project before then. So this is our first December sprint weekend.
Wait, hold on. Back up. What's the sewing project? You can't just say that and then not tell us about it.
Well, I'm hoping to finish it before tomorrow so that tomorrow I can wear it on the stream and do kind of a reveal event. I am not cosplaying. I'm doing a soft cosplay. So knowing that Amy's not going to be here tomorrow.
Oh, you're very kind.
So this is how far I've got so far. The only thing is I have attached this seam wrong way out. So the seam is on the outside. So currently I have to unpick the seam and then repin it. And the problem is I did a really good job on that seam. It might be my best seam ever, and it's invisible, and it's so hard to see the stitches because I'm using black thread and it just blends in perfectly.
What if you go from the other side?
Yeah, it's...
to unpick it.
You can't see it. I did such a good job of the seam. The problem is
so frustrating.
The pattern I'm using... is basically doing the dress in white fabric with black spots. So it looks like the wrong side of my fabric. So I looked at the picture and was like, oh, right sides together. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
That would be too easy.
But I am doing a very soft cosplay of Wednesday Addams. So
cool.
I'm not going to do hair or anything. I'm just going to have...
Your hair is the right colour. You just have to straighten it, which sounds like a lot of work. So
I'm not going to bother. I'm going to be just a nod to Wednesday. And then I've got a second sewing project that I don't think I'm going to finish in time. I'm making a pinafore out of fabric that has a very strong pattern, and matching it just takes so long. I've done very little sewing. I'm kind of having to cut the next piece, which makes it take forever. So yeah, but what I'm doing is, because November was so crazy busy nanoing, I'm kind of using this weekend as a chance to refill my creative well. Also, main character in the story I'm working on is a tailor, so I'm like, okay, I'm getting in the malarkey mindset.
I like it.
That's what
I'm a big believer in art begets art. Like if you if you have one art, which is like your main art, which is like your writing, same. But a good way to refresh your creative well is to do a different kind of art. So something visual or tactile. Yeah, absolutely. Because you still get that sense of satisfaction of completing something, but something not with words is quite nice.
I have found I'm making progress on the tapping things. So I'll put that aside for now. That's going to be my first sprint project. But Caspian, nice. Yes, that is what I'm about to do. So yeah, Caspian, how are you? And what are you working on today? And Amy, same question for you.
I have gone back to What's French for Oops. I got my editor to have a look at it. I was realizing that there was not massive read through between that and the other books in the series. And I'm aware that the other books are probably better because this one I initially wrote like 10 years ago. So I've learned a lot since then. I've written a lot since then, and I reckon I could do a better job. And I got my editor, who I used for everything, to have another, she'd never done a developmental edit on this because I'd worked with this book. I'd worked with a literary agent, so I didn't ever get a developmental edit from this editor. So I've passed it back to her, and I've got her feedback, and there's some big cuts, but I'm kind of enjoying that. It's quite satisfying just to be like, yeah, that whole bit gone, I can do better, and or I don't need it. Like realizing there's like whole bits in there that I'm like, I didn't need to show that. I can just reference that it happened. Like
that's brilliant.
The pacing's all off, and it just muddies the focus of what the story's really about. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm editing my first published book. Again, I'll do a second edition and some new covers. Who knows when? I'm not setting deadlines. But yeah, that's me. What are you working on any writing today, Gillian?
If I finish, what I'm gonna attempt to do first, unpick the sleeve, pin the sleeve the right way it should be, do the same for the other front sleeve, and then pin the back sleeves to the back part of the dress. If I get all of that finished, then yeah, I'm going to sit down to work on Cheers Wears. I've also this week gone and hung out.
Is this a werewolf book?
Cool. Well, it is my Queer Eye for the Supernatural Guy series. And
I've never heard of this. You haven't told me.
Okay.
That's fantastic. I love it. So they're werewolves and they're queer and they're sewing.
No. So Malaki is a necromancer, and he has a frenemies relationship with Tobias, who is a vampire. And they're kind of like ostracized from the Christchurch supernatural community because no one likes necromancers. They are the worst. And vampires are creepy and you can't trust them. So lockdown
can't argue with that.
Lockdown happens. They get stuck in Malaki's apartment and binge on reality TV, which is Tobias's addiction. They end up watching Queer Eye, and they're like, "We should do this, and then people will like us." And Malaki's like, "That will never work. That's a dumb idea." And Tobias is like, "Please." And he keeps on working on him. And then Malaki's like, "Okay, we have been around for several hundred years at this point. Why not do something with our immortality. Like, this is a dumb idea, but it's better than doing nothing.
Better than nothing.
And at the same time, there is a string of animal attacks in Bottle Lake Forest, in Bottle Lake Park, that happen around the full moon. And they're like, oh my God, werewolf. This is perfect. We're going to rehabilitate this new werewolf, win him to our cause, and show the supernatural community that we are awesome guys and they should love us. And that is where the story starts, with Malarkey and Tobias in Bottle Lake looking for a werewolf.
Gold.
Yep.
Fantastic. Okay.
Caspian's doing admin with this year's Nano project. Oh, cool. And we've got Billy here again. Yay, Billy. But yeah, so as other Refill the Well activities this week, I hung around. I made a trip to Bottle Lake Forest, and I visited the Barbados Street Cemetery, which is one of my favorite places. So
that one is so cool and gothic.
Yeah, I had a lovely time.
And I love how close it is to Margaret Mahi Playground, which is like the exact opposite vibe.
Yep.
But she would approve of the gothic.
Yep. The first time I visited the Barbados Street Cemetery, I was doing a cemetery tour with a group of people, and we're standing in this cemetery is in either side of Barbados Street in Christchurch, and you've got the Anglican side on one side of the road, and then across the side you have Catholics and other. Because our Christchurch's founders were not super inclusive. Anyway, we're doing this cemetery tour, and at one point I look up, and across the road in the Catholic section there is a sheep, and I'm like, is that a sheep? And our guy just looks up and he's like, yeah, that wouldn't be the strangest thing I've seen in the cemetery, and just goes on with the tour.
I love it.
Yeah. But yeah, I visited on a day when it was like blue skies, fluffy white clouds, really strong sunshine. It was like the least appropriate weather to visit a cemetery.
Yeah. Oh, Billy, tell us what you're working on. Type it in the chat.
Yeah. So,
do you have some prompty thing for our, what do you call it, brain waker-upper writing thingamabob?
Yeah.
That's a very efficient way of saying it.
I have The Wild Unknown, which I am happy to get out. I was able to visit a cafe on Monday night, and I hung out with Julie and Red Fox. And Red Fox and Julie both brought their tarot decks with them, so I got to play with other people's tarot cards, which, super fun. But it also kind of reminded me why I love The Wild Unknown, why everything that's special about this deck. So Billy's working on her Nana's book today, which is exciting.
Nice.
And okay, I think, oh, cool. So today we have the star. So we have a really big star in rainbow colors. It is kind of the 5-pointed star that is, the way every kid draws a star. But it's surrounded by lots of little more realistic stars. And it's going sort of, there's darkness at the top of the car where the stars are, but their light spreading out for them is turning the base of the car light. So the star represents hope. It is kind of what keeps you going when things are dark. I just love this card a lot. There's not much to say about it. Hope is pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, I will grab my book. So I think everyone here knows how our warm-ups work, but just in case, this is 5 minutes of uncensored writing time. park your inner editor. Don't put any pressure on yourself to make something beautiful or create art. Just using the card as inspiration for 5 minutes. Just get whatever's on your mind out of your mind onto paper and get your creative muscles warmed up for the work ahead of us. Oh, hey, Caspian says the last card I pulled as a warm-up was the Star 2. That is fantastic. Well, you will be extremely warmed up. So 5 minutes.
It's very interesting. Feels like providential.
Yep. Okay, 5 minutes starting now. That gave me such a fright. So that was our warm up. I got a nice little column of pep talk for myself. Oh, hey, that seemed to speak to you a lot, Amy.
Yeah, there's a few things there. I think doing this whole new edition thing has been quite like, it sort of is quite reassuring to realize that you're getting better, like that all the writing and all the reading have had a positive impact.
Yeah.
What else gives me hope? Oh, it's nearly the summer holidays, which really does make a huge difference. It's been a pretty hard year. And I think the other thing is I'm not just getting better at writing and pacing and whatnot, but also at being patient and giving the project the time it needs and myself the time I need. I'm not a full-time writer, you know, I have another whole job and children and whatnot. So, and I think just realizing that there's no real deadline, you know, like any deadline I create is a tool for me and to get the project done, but it's not external. And yeah, like there's a part of me that's like, oh, I would love to get a new cover up before Christmas to try and tap into that, you know, pre-Christmas shopping people do and reading, especially of books that have Christmas in them, but it's probably not going to happen, right? Like, and I'd rather wait and do a better job of it and give it the time it needs. But I would have once upon a time, not that long ago, I would have been like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to have a new cover by tomorrow and I'm going to put it up so that I can have at least 2 weeks of pre-Christmas. Yeah. And not going to do that to myself. It's just not worth it. So
yeah. So the chat we've had this morning about kind of time passing, seeing our skills level up and all of that has reminded me of a thought I had a couple of weeks ago. I've been doing kind of the Becca Symes, a few Becca Symes courses actually, where you sort of identify your strengths and then figure out how to use them, how to make them work for you rather than against you. And I realize that I need to be learning to be like learning fills my creative well, basically. And I have spent a lot of time learning about plot structure and story structure and character arc. And while I wouldn't say I know everything there, I feel like I've got a pretty good handle on it. What I haven't been studying or looking at is kind of improving my writing on a prose level. And I was wondering, I'm thinking of like getting together like a couple of people who authors, I guess, to kind of form a study group, like a craft study group for prose. And I haven't really figured out how it's going to work yet. Like, I think putting together a list of resources that we work through and then like we'd have to be comfortable to like put samples of our writing forward and then like critique them and really polish them. But yeah,
I'm a part of a critique group with literary writers. Like Laura's short stories, Eric and Chris are poets, Annabelle's a genius. Annabelle, I think she's working on her PhD at the moment, but she wrote the best haiku ever, which can I use the F-bomb on?
Yes.
Yeah. So her haiku goes, love is a hill star in a Kingswood on a green light with a fucked clutch. She wrote that, right? She's a genius. So I'm and I bring along little excerpts from romance novels. I do also bring along poems. I do sometimes write poetry, but I
think knowing that your critique group exists is kind of added to this idea. Because
I mean, there are lots of them. I think, you want to start with 2 or 3 people who are really committed, because you need to have everyone show up initially.
Yeah.
In the past, I've started one with quite a large initial group, and I think that was a bit overwhelming for some people, but the people who really wanted it stuck around, and it did work out really well. But I think the ideal number is probably like 5 people, partly because then everyone can share something in a sitting, and everyone can get about half an hour of like chat around their piece of writing, which is sort of enough time to get past the like initial response and into the nitty gritty. And you can do that in an evening without it being like horrendously late night.
Yeah.
I think that's probably about the right size. 5 or 6 people. I do think if you go larger than that, well, when you have any kind of regular group, there's that sense of like, if I don't show up, will it still go ahead? And you don't want that. You want to be able to stay away if you're sick or something and not feel like you have to go. Because as soon as you feel like you have to go, that can kind of sour it. But if it's a really big group and you feel like you won't be missed, that's not great either. Because sometimes you just don't really feel like going, and then you go and then you love it. And it's like, okay, no, it was good today. So I think you need to feel that a little bit of pressure to show up, but not too much. And it's nice to have a bit of variety within the group around what people write. But I think people need to be, if they're not aware of the others' genres, like if they're not reading in the genre that the group mates are writing in, then they need to be willing to kind of take on some understanding of that genre so that their feedback is like helpful for writing within that genre. Because I think some of the feedback I'll get from literary folks will actually make my work less appealing to romance readers.
Yeah.
Because it's not an objectively better way of writing. It's just a different way of writing. And if romance readers wanted that way of writing, they would probably read different books, right? Like, I mean, books that are written in a literary style with a happy ending is a thing that exists. And there are certainly romance writers who have a more literary style, but I do think being like sort of upskilling your awareness of different types of genres is kind of one of the perks, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Billy asked, I have to scroll back up to see the question. How did you discover that learning does this for you, Gillian? I'd kind of always known this, but I hadn't realized this, if that makes sense. Like when I went to university, my writing just exploded. I wrote so much fan fiction. When I went to university, I got into the working world. It kind of tailed off a bit until I started learning Japanese. As soon as I started studying Japanese, I wanted to write. The JLPT, the Japanese Language Proficiency Test, happens every year in December, and that coincides with like my intense study coincided with Nano. So every year I wound up studying for the JLPT and then doing Nano instead. And then I went back to university in New Zealand, and fanfic happened again. But earlier this year, I did a presentation for the AuthorTube Writing Conference, and one of the other people presenting was a woman called Becca Symes. Amy and I have a mutual writing friend, Mel, who is a huge fan of Becca Symes and the Clifton Strengths and talks about Becca quite a bit. So as soon as I saw Becca was presenting, I was like, okay, have to check her out. She was doing a Write Better Faster course, which she does monthly. It's aimed at writers. It's helping you identify your strengths and then figuring out how to use them in your writing career. So it's very much aimed at writers, but it uses the Clifton Strengths, the Myers-Briggs personality test, and another one, which I think they're phasing out in favor of the Enneagram. And then they take all of those different things and they're like, okay, so if you scored an N on the Myers-Briggs test, these are the things that will probably work well for you, and these are the things that will derail you. And
Nice.
kind of looking at different types of writing advice, like write every day. That's going to work for you if you have high stability, which I do. So that is advice that is very good for me. But
I
for
have high stability and it doesn't work for me, but
yeah, there's probably something else going on there, right? So,
I mean,
well,
it probably would. It just doesn't work with my current lifestyle.
what's interesting is write every day works for me for 3 days. On the fourth day, I have to do something completely different.
Oh yeah. Hey,
So,
I'm just noticing the time.
oh crap.
Yeah, we should get into our first 20-minute sprint.
Yikes. Yes, I am sorry, everyone. It is very lucky that Amy is here to keep us on track. But basically,
pretty sure I'm the one who derailed us talking about writers
Christian
groups.
strengths, Enneagram. There's a whole lot of stuff out there about getting to know your brain so you can figure out how to work in a way that works for you rather than against you. Okay. 20 minutes starting now. Okay, that was the end of our first sprint. I am looking at the time, and I'm super grateful that Amy got us on track. Yikes.
All right. I'm fine.
Yeah.
We've got like 7 minutes.
Yep. So we've been joined by Ada, who is knitting. I am loving the fact that this is a writing stream, and I think the only one of us who is actually writing might be Caspian, which is awesome.
I'm writing.
Of all kinds of. Oh, are you writing or editing?
Well, I'm writing. I've been writing at the moment.
Okay, perfect.
Editing is writing. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so we've got 2 people writing. That's fantastic. And Caspian got 300 words exactly, which is awesome. Okay,
Nice.
so we are so behind. I think we're going to just jump into our next sprint. Is that okay?
Go get a coffee. But yes, I'll be right back with my coffee. Start the sprint without me.
Okay, so we're going to have 20 minutes starting now. Okay. So that is the end of our second sprint. I finished unpicking my sleeve, which meant that I've been able to go on and pin all of the sleeves the correct way. So once the stream finishes, I can sew my sleeves together and get on with the dress. But Caspian got 375 words. And
Nice.
yeah, how did you go, Amy?
All right, I got a bit stuck. I needed to figure out where exactly they were in Paris, so I've been wandering around on Street View and picking bridges. Based solely on their aesthetics.
Yep.
I've decided on Pont Alexandre 3.
Lovely. Okay, we are running against time, so we're going to hop straight into our third sprint. I'm going to take a really quick bathroom break. At the end of that last sprint, my mum tapped on my door to let me know that she's backed into my car. So I'm going to go out and have a look at that. She says it's minor. So considering the treatment that I've given my car, I may not even notice. So, but yeah. Oh, Ada is starting to creases for the top of the foot, which is exciting. That means that you should be on the final stages of the slipper. So I hope all of that goes well. But yeah, quick bio break for me and then right back into it. So 20 minutes starting now. Okay, that is the end of our third stream. So I can't remember whether it was this stream or last stream that I finished pinning my sleeves together and was like, okay, I get to do some writing now. I then realized I have not done my planning for the rest of the week, so I'm doing that instead. But I also texted Jamie to see how they were doing, and they said they're pretty good, very busy, and then they shared a picture in the Discord channel. Their stall looks amazing, so definitely go and take a look. Yeah, I am.
That's cool.
Yeah, I am very sad that we could not have had a stall together at Auckland Armageddon, but that is something to aim for in the future.
Yeah. It doesn't all have to happen this year, is like my mantra at the moment.
It's a really good mantra. So how did
I was
you
meant
get
to start recording. I was going to say I was meant to start recording my audiobook this week. I've got a friend who's an actor, and we booked a recording studio, and then 2 days before the booking, she got COVID, or she tested positive for COVID. I was like, no. We were going to try and aim to have a first pass done before Christmas, but that's so not going to happen now. Anyway, she's okay. I think she said she's just really tired. So we put it off for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So at least by then I'll be off school and we can maybe do it during the day, not just in the evenings, and hopefully it will be a little less pressurized, because it just seems totally unrealistic to get a first pass of the whole book done before Christmas, so that I can kind of just let it go and go, that's okay, it's not going to happen, we'll just do what we can do.
Yep.
I made some good progress. Yep. I'm changing a scene that was set in one thing, with one place with a group of people that is a setting in a group that I can pretty much remove from the whole book.
Oh, so brilliant.
But she still needs to have a night out. So I've just changed what it is. Yeah. Changed who she's with. To a character who is sort of integral to the rest of the story. So yeah, they're cycling along the Seine. About to get some ice cream.
Yay. Ada has almost finished the top of the foot, but dark green yarn in dim parking garage is hard, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Good
Why
luck,
are you working
Ada.
in a parking garage, Ada?
Ada is usually accompanying a child to an activity on the weekend, so
right, that makes sense.
I assume that is why.
That will be me later today.
Yep. And to ensure that you are on time to those child events, let's dive into our fourth and final sprint. And Ada says, yep, show day for dance. So hopefully that's going well. But yes, 20 minutes starting now. Okay. So it is exactly 12 o'clock, and that is the end of our fourth and final sprint. I'm very impressed at us for making it to the end on time.
Except if we say anything now, we've run overtime.
Yes. So Ada's slipper is asymmetrical by 1 stitch. Ada, wow. That face.
Good, or I'm not a knitting person.
That is not good. That is being 1 stitch out.
Oh, that's so frustrating.
Yep. We can only empathize, Ada. Oh no.
Just imagine if it was a book and there was only one typo in the whole book. That would be a win.
Yep. But Ada got 4 more rows on the top of the foot, so that is exciting. In planning my next week, I started to look into how I'm going to get to Armageddon, and I've just realized that it is being held at Te Pai, which is the big convention center opposite the library, which I'm even more excited about because I haven't been inside there yet. So
neither. I have been nosy at the windows, and I've seen, you can see quite a lot from the outside. I feel like you can see like that they've got quite long, big open windows you can see, but it's pretty cool, eh?
Yeah. There is no parking there, so I'm going to figure out how to get myself and my junk to the convention center. There is a docking, like a cargo bay type place, so I'm thinking that I might be able to dump my stuff and then go and park and then come back. So
yeah, because there's free parking like around behind Margaret Mahy Playground. There's quite a few places not far from there that it would be free parking, but you wouldn't want to have to cart all your stuff unless if you got like a trolley.
I do not have a trolley, but if someone Christchurch based has a trolley that I can borrow, let me know. But what I've done is
maybe you should ask for one for Christmas.
Yeah. I have downsized my book boxes. I've now got like smaller plastic containers about this big that are much more portable. But I've got a few of them, so we'll have to make multiple trips. So yeah, I'm hoping that I can use the docking bay, dump stuff, and then go and park.
Yeah, that would be ideal, eh?
Yeah,
you'll need a buddy to stay with your stuff.
Yeah, or I can I doubt that people are going to want to run away with like things of books.
True, but yeah. When is that?
It is next Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. both days.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I make no promises about being like any use whatsoever next weekend. We have our staff party on the Friday afternoon/evening, which is always a good one. But the next day's not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next weekend, I'm off both days for Armageddon. Jamie is here one day and has a market the next day. And I've managed to forget which day they are here. So we're already going to be down one day next weekend. And then, it is the crazy season. Things just get extremely booked up and busy. So next weekend, we're going to be playing it by ear with the streams, I think. But yeah. Thank you so much for joining me today, Amy. It's been brilliant having you here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and Caspian, Ada,
fun.
and Billy, thank you as well. It was a really good stream, but I'm conscious we're now 5 minutes over time, so I'm going to say bye. Catch you in the Discord. Yep. And have a great rest of your week, rest of your day.
See ya.
Yep. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.